and gentlemen, welcome back to the BB-Scho. We're very excited for a special edition of NBA Wednesday. We got a lot to talk about, a lot to catch up on. But first, we're joined by Luke. We're joined by Christian. We're talking LeBron. We're talking Kyrie to the Mavs, a little Cam Thomas, better or worse, who he played for. Luke Got Locks is back, and while it may have been a joke last week, he actually made an Instagram account. Luke, I know you said you're down a little bit, but yeah, how's it going, man?
It's been better. The reason I made, so just to preface, if you guys are into prize picks, any of that, I just made an Instagram account. I mainly just made it for like the boys, my friends, because they all asked me for my picks for some reason. And as of, since I made this Instagram, I was up all time, and then I made the Instagram, not doing so hot. So hey, I'm taking a little hiatus for a couple days, but I'll be back next week. So if you want to follow me on Instagram at Luke Got Locks, and yeah.
Jinx yourself, huh?
Oh yeah. It's the whenever you post it online for everyone to see, that's when, then the NBA is like, oh, we gotta tell DeJounte Murray not to make that last shot. So it's all good though. It's all good.
Please tell me you didn't have the Jokic taco last night too.
Well, I did have his taco, which I was already sussed out about because he either drops 35 or 15. But yeah,
you missed a free throw with like 10 seconds on the clock.
The parlay that it was in was already chalked, so
okay.
It is what it is.
You got
but
it. Yeah, easy. Chen, how are you?
Yeah, I'm chilling, man. Chilling. Milwaukee weather and whatnot. We want to talk about Kyrie Irving, the
we're getting down
situation going down in there.
Yeah, what's your take?
Yeah, no, I just want to say this. I knew this was gonna happen. Like with the Mavericks, I knew Luka was gonna get his MVP case. Called it way before the year. I didn't think he was gonna get this much help at the trade deadline, but now he's pretty much gonna walk his way pretty much to the finals if Kyrie's there, and that's kind of the biggest question of this.
I was about to say Kyrie demanded a trade. I went in the group chat and said Kyrie to the Mavs, and you guys were like, "Nah, he's going to the Lakers," and I was like, and then I was right. But now you're saying something different. So, you did say Luka was MVP at the start of the year, and
right. And I didn't expect honestly the Mavericks to do a move like this, for the reason that I know the Lakers are going to sell out and do something that might be stupid for the long term. I didn't think Mark Cuban was, but like this could be as great of a trade as it is on paper, and like every 2K person is going to be using this team. Like it's cool. Like it's a cool matchup to see. It's something that is going to be very tough to stop in the West. But in terms of next season, does anyone know where Kyrie's going to want to play? He could just go right to the Lakers this offseason. And then the Mavericks just lost their only guys that could do anything with Luka. And they're out picks as well. Saw the report was like a 2029 pick, so Kyrie got traded for a 7th grader. Like, like this is how far down the line a lot can change. And the Mavericks, they've been missing it really on a lot of free agents. They're always like in the running. DeAndre Jordan kind of comes to mind. Rajon Rondo, like when they do sign these guys, they never work out. Not saying the same's gonna happen to Kyrie, but if I'm a betting man, like the two of you guys, I'd have to pretty much say that I don't think Kyrie is going to be in a Mavericks uniform next season, just given what I heard about how the Nets situation went down. Basically, it was circulating. I don't know how up to date you guys are on the situation, but like a week or two before this trade happened, Kyrie came out and said, I'm not leaving KD anywhere. But then today he was saying he felt disrespected by the Nets organization, that he did his best to leave and show his teammates love, yada, 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 trying to like save his rep. But what came out from the Nets side was they essentially were going to offer him that long-term deal, unlike pretty much any other team, I feel like right now. And there's a stipulation in there, like you have to play so many games and make it to the finals, which is the Nets' goal. And he took that as a shot at disrespect and demanded the trade. That's what happened. Like, there wasn't like a blow up between the coaches. Steve Nash isn't there anymore. It was he wanted his money for long term, and no one wants to pay a guy like Kyrie Irving that kind of money. You don't know where his head is at. He said that everywhere he's gone. The Cavs, the Celtics, the Nets, and now the Mavericks. I want to sign here, be back for life.
Well, I mean, I saw the press release of when he signed with Boston, and then we went to the Nets, and then now the Mavericks. His like team released like a social media statement, and quite literally copy and pasted, except for the team. Like it was, I'm ecstatic to be here in Dallas and looking forward to meeting my new teammates. I'm ecstatic to be here in Brooklyn. But
Yeah.
He's a bot, man.
Luke,
Kyrie's
He's a
Kyrie's
bot.
something else. I did a little bit of research, and I wouldn't say I have an inside resource, but from a friend of a friend of a friend, I've heard, kind of the details of like the inside of this like thing. I'm serious. I'm so serious.
No,
what in the world is this?
No, I just wanted to like give some backstory about the whole Nets, like the basically the dispute that Christian was talking about. So basically the stipulation in his contract and the reason that Kyrie wasn't going to resign, he told the Nets like, hey, like it's either you trade me now because I'm not going to resign because of the contract he was offered. And one of the stipulations is you get a like obviously in today's NBA, if you meet certain criteria or you have incentives, and if you meet those incentives, you get paid more money.
Any team sport.
Yeah. And usually what happens with something like that is, say your base salary, for example, is $1 million, you score 25 points a game for the year, you get an extra $200K. His incentive was he gets a contract and he's guaranteed this money, but the stipulation was you have to make the finals, and if you don't, we're going to take away money from you instead of having it as a bonus. So he's looking at this contract like, okay, that's the most unfair. That's just unfair.
Yeah,
so
I've never seen that.
It was I had heard that it was just like minimum amount of games played. I never heard this part about making the
finals. No, it was
the finals thing was a huge deal.
Yeah, it was
took it as like a shot of disrespect.
Yeah, which I mean,
and hearing that side of it,
I don't blame him.
Yeah, the
I didn't know
part is
I thought it was bonus.
Yeah, the craziest part is he was the only. KD didn't get this incentive. Like no one else besides him got this. So they're basically telling him, "Hey, man, you got to play the best season of your career. If you don't make the finals, we're going to take money away from you," which I think is ridiculous. Which obviously everyone always likes to come at Kyrie just because the type of person he is. But I understand. Like he told the Nets, "Hey, I'm not going to re-sign here. So trade me before the trade deadline, or I'm just going to walk." And for good reason. I mean, if I was in his situation, that's a pretty BS incentive if I've ever heard one. But yeah, so I don't know. But as for Kyrie on the Mavs, man, when I first saw the news, I was shocked because I was like, okay, Lakers. I mean, I could see Lee GM, pulling some strings, obviously.
What strings though? That's kind of
exactly. Well, exactly. That's what I was thinking.
Offer?
No way they trade Westbrook for Kyrie. No one wants Westbrook.
Okay, but the reason that didn't go through, because it was going to happen, and Westbrook is better than Dinwiddie. The reason it didn't go through was because of their owner.
Yeah,
Joe Tsai was like, he's like, I want him anywhere that's not the Lakers.
Yeah,
so that's why, like, that didn't happen. But like, it should have, because I think Kyrie, that's probably his destination this offseason if he doesn't come to a long-term deal. But no, your thoughts on the current state?
Yeah. No, I think it's interesting too. I haven't really thought about the long term yet, obviously, because he hasn't played in a game. But I would not be surprised he gets shipped to the Lakers, beginning of next season. But as for the rest of this season, I got two takes here. One, at first, I was kind of unsure. I was like, okay, they're both guys who need the ball, whatever. But then I realized, okay, Kyrie has played with some great talent, obviously LeBron and KD, and LeBron is a very high usage player along with Luka, and I would go as far as to say that he meshed better with LeBron than he did KD. And Luka is another high efficiency guy who needs the ball in his hand, and Kyrie, played his best with LeBron. I don't see kind of what changes. I mean, you can look at Jalen Brunson before he got traded. I mean, Jason Kidd turned Jalen Brunson into a borderline star.
I mean, he really helped his development. He's a star right now.
Exactly. I mean, he's holding it down with Julius Randle. He got a great contract. So Jason Kidd knows exactly what he's doing. And I feel like him bringing in Kyrie, he's going to, what's the difference between Brunson and Kyrie, except Kyrie's just a better player. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like in every way. Yeah. Yeah. He's taller, he's faster, better dribbler,
off the court. I mean, you could make a case, but I think that the Mavericks this year, I think this is a good piece. Do I think it's going to help them make the finals? No. And this leads me to my second take, which is the hottest take I've had in a while is I think the Nets are way better now that Kyrie is gone. Like, I think that, especially with the emergence of Cam Thomas, which I'm not going to sit here and say he's going to average 40 points a game for the rest of the season, but he's on a heater right now. And now you're adding guys like Dorian Finney-Smith, great defender, Spencer Dinwiddie. He's been to Brooklyn. He was good in Brooklyn, and all those other role players. And then we have KD. So it's like you got rid of the drama in the locker room. You know what we're doing. I don't know if there's still, more trade talks on the Nets roster, but if they keep it as it is now, I would not be surprised if they somehow made it to the conference finals. I'm just going to say it right now. I mean, I don't know about finals. That might be kind of tough unless KD does KD things. But yeah, I think the Nets are better off without Kyrie.
Yeah, well, if KD does KD things, he needs a smaller size shoe. Just maybe let him know that next time.
Oh, man.
Yeah, I mean, as for what Luke finished with, you could be right. I think they're good pieces, like you said. Dinwiddie's been there, Finney-Smith. I don't see them beating Boston, Milwaukee, or Philadelphia even. It might beat Philadelphia in the 6 or 7 game like rugged series, but I don't see them coming out of the East. But you could be right. I mean, if Cam Thomas really is that guy and he's going to keep doing this, then yeah, I mean, I could see anything. If he's some superstar that was hiding on their bench. I think I'm in a little different place though than you guys when it comes to the Mavericks. There's a part of me that I think that this actually might long-term work out. I could see Kyrie sticking it out. I'm not convinced that he wants to play with LeBron again. I'm really not. I could see it happening in LA, but there's a part of me that I don't know if he does, man. The way that ended, Kyrie seems to be a guy who holds on to grudges, clearly. So it wouldn't shock me if he doesn't want to do that. Everybody's doing that because I think LeBron wants it. I think it's a good fit. I think it puts, that roster in a completely different spot than where it's at right now. But when it comes to the Mavericks, Mark Cuban's the type of owner that I think would just let Kyrie be Kyrie, and that would incentivize him to stay. Mark Cuban's not going to care what he's just doing off the court as long as he's showing up and playing, right? He's
another question mark.
Well, yeah, I mean, what do you mean?
Him showing up and playing?
Well, yeah. Well, in Texas,
he did want to play with LeBron. I will say, like he did. That's the again, that trade got blocked because the Nets owners didn't want it. But it was clearly the best value because the Lakers are that desperate.
No, I heard.
But I hear what you're saying. Like if the Mavericks turn out to be where Kyrie can just do whatever the hell he wants, which in Texas, that's kind of the motto. I see what you're saying.
So
I could see like, yeah.
I had heard that, and this is just through Twitter. So apparently Luke's got some inside track that we have no idea about. So
just on the Kyrie Nets situation.
Yeah,
I did a deep dive on that.
I had heard that the Nets asking price was too high for the Lakers, not the Nets owner saying, I'm not sending him to LA.
The owner thing that came out from Bleacher Report. That came out.
Okay, well, first of all,
because I saw the offer was like Russ and a couple other people, and
I think both of those things could be true. Because for one, the Nets owner, I mean,
he jacked up the price.
Yeah, the way that Kyrie kind of treated that organization, like they're not gonna, they got him to come to Brooklyn. He did whatever the heck, and they're not gonna sit here and say, "Oh yeah, Kyrie, we'll do anything. We'll chip you, whoever." No, like he kind of just caused all this drama, and they're like, "Okay, well, we're gonna ship you and get the best value." But I mean, as for the asking price, I mean, let's say Kyrie did go to the Lakers instead of the Mavs. What kind of trade package are we looking at? Because is Westbrook? I feel like Westbrook's got to get shipped, and that, I mean, Westbrook and KD. That, oh geez,
that's not happening.
I don't think KD would vibe with that at all. So,
brutal.
The other side of it, and I'm in this camp. I know I've seen people on TikTok, Twitter in this camp as well. I'm actually a little surprised Kevin Durant hasn't been traded yet or made it known that he wants to be traded. This team has been a complete failure. That being the Harden, the team that's on your wall behind you, the Harden, Kyrie, and Durant team. Just a complete failure.
I got 2 out of 3.
One left standing.
I got KD right here. For all those on YouTube watching, I got my Nets poster in the back with Harden, Kyrie, KD. We're 2 out of 3. So as soon as KD is gone, that's getting burned.
Yeah, and this team feels like a complete failure to me, and I don't see KD taking this team to the finals. I've said that, and you guys don't really either. But I just, if I was the Nets, I'd just blow it up at this point, right? Like I think that you're better off trying to get away from this super team thing with aging superstars of kind of this last generation. They had an incredible team before they made all these moves, right? That D'Lo team that was super young and they dished all this talent out. I mean, they have talent there. Nick Claxton, Cam Thomas, obviously, and obviously KD and Kyrie, but no longer Kyrie. So I guess I'm just a little surprised. I would have, if I was the Nets, or KD even, I would have said, all right, I'm done. Like, send me somewhere else, right? Or I'll send him somewhere else because this team it just didn't work.
I could see that with from KD's perspective, but I feel like especially now that the Nets have this 2029 unprotected, first round pick, which I mean, I don't know. Like obviously Wembanyama has been around for like probably the last year or two, but like these guys like him or like, whoever, they just come out of thin air, man. They're creating them in the lab and then they find their way onto Bleacher Report. So by the time 2029 comes around, we could see an 8'5" point guard walking around, averaging 70 points. So I feel like the Nets and like as of right now, they're gonna keep rolling with it. I think if KD, especially, I don't think he'll want to leave, obviously this year, but next year comes around, if he wants to leave, I think the Nets are kind of in a bad spot for maybe 3-4 years. But after that, if they keep some of their, main role guys and they have these picks later, I mean, I think they'll be in a good spot. I wouldn't say blow it up like right as of right now, obviously, but
and I don't think blow it up is like when I say like blow it up for like say the Bulls, I mean literally trade every person on the roster. For the Nets, it would really just be trade. It would be just like trade KD now, get more first and whatever picks you can, get a young star compensation for Kevin Durant, whatever you can get, and then try and structure draft with these draft picks, try and find a superstar, right? But or maybe you have a superstar in Cam Thomas, that sort of thing, Nick Claxton, but. Yeah, that's maybe not blow it up is the right word, but trade KD because he's 30.
I mean,
whatever.
you can, geez, you don't even have to blow it up. You're going to get so much in return for KD, even at this age. So.
Yeah, I don't think the Nets are going to be like bad. If they took KD off the roster right now, they'd be bad. But if they got proper decent compensation, give them a year and a half, 2 years, I think that they'd be pretty good. With what the young talent they have right now. So I guess I'll ask you guys this: is Dallas coming out of the West now? In your eyes, or does it remain to be seen?
Oh man, Chris, I'll let you lead it off.
They got a shot, man. I know a lot of people love the Nuggets until I see that kind of happen in the playoffs. I'm kind of waiting on it. And again, this might be the year. They kind of feel like the Suns of 2020, where everything's kind of clicking, like at all 5 positions for them right now. I mean, everyone's talking about Aaron Gordon being an all-star for, different reasons, being able to defend and not being he's the 4th option on that team scoring wise. And they're like, yeah, this guy should be an all-star. So they got all sorts. That's like the one team that should make any moves at the deadline because I think their rotation is great. It's just a matter of everybody playing up to their ability in the playoffs.
I think they've been this good for a while. They're just finally all healthy at the same time.
Jamal Murray just came back.
Yeah, Jamal Murray finally's back. Mike Porter Jr. is out forever. I mean,
that's really what's holding him up is Michael Porter Jr. is still young, and again, game experience we've brought on it's minimal. Definitely not as much as you would have liked. Same with Jamal Murray. I mean, he's been off, but in the same breath, the last time he was playing was the bubble, and he was going at it with Donovan Mitchell, dropping 50. That was such fun, first round series. So I'm not really concerned with his ability to perform. Is the rest of the team around Jokic, and if Jamal Murray has a bad night, are they still going to be able to win games? Which I think they can. However, with the Mavericks, how to beat that per se, I'm already looking at the backcourt in my mind. It's Luka and Kyrie versus Jamal Murray and KCP. I understand KCP's a little nice little 3-and-D guy there, but I'm kind of banking that if Luka doesn't go for 30 on a night, Kyrie will in the playoffs.
I think if he
And
doesn't go for 40, he's the other guy.
yeah,
Going for 40. Yeah.
right. I mean, every year Luka has these crazy performances, and now that he has Kyrie to dish off to, I'm curious if it's going to be too much because I'm not confident in Jokic defensively. I saw a game recently where they played against the 76ers, and Embiid, like there was multiple times where he just humbled him. Like he just went one-on-one, just backed him down, and it was no problem. And especially a guy at Jokic's size, the amount of usage they use for a 7-game series against teams like the Mavericks that like to just go. It's either we're just going to go in transition or Luka is just going to wear you out. And I'm curious, man. I'm really curious, but I would say right now, those are like my Western Conference Finals matchup, I think is going to be somewhere in that vein. There's going to be Nuggets, Mavericks. Not really sure who comes out for sure, though. Nuggets are just so much deeper.
Yeah. And I'll say this too. Nobody's mentioned this yet. I'm a little shocked they got Kyrie Irving and got to keep Christian Wood. For that exact matchup, that I think he's going to be valuable. You don't have a scrub down there, going at it with Jokic.
Yeah.
He's not
but
on
he
that
doesn't
caliber
do
at
anything
all.
defensively. That's what's
And
like.
I
Jokic
don't know.
is still going to have his way. I do agree that Wood's not going to get really halted, but I wish they'd move like JaVale for somebody who can lock up, like a I don't know who even comes to mind, man.
I mean, they
Jakob
have
Poeltl would be a wall, but
yeah,
They're not gonna
they have
trade
Maxi
for
Kleba
him.
who's been injured. He's decently, a decent defender. I mean, obviously
I
he's
think
nothing
he's garbage,
crazy.
bro. I hate
Yeah.
him, bro.
I mean, he's not
hate
good.
Maxi Kleba. Him and Dwight Powell, bro. Like
Okay.
I
Dwight
think
Powell is
those
awful.
people might be like, no, ugh.
I mean, I'm
Sorry,
not
that's-
saying they're good players. I'm just saying that's another big body because obviously Christian Wood. I mean, I have to say this. I mean, we call Anthony Day-to-Day Davis. Christian Wood's made out of glass and paper too. So
That's true.
I mean, I think that's where the biggest problem comes to mind is like, okay, Luka and Kyrie are going to have their way. Especially come playoffs. Obviously, they'll be in the playoffs. What happens when you catch they're both having a bad series or a couple bad games? Like neither of them can really get it done, which I don't think that will happen, to be honest with you. I mean, I think Luka is, Luka. I've never seen Luka have a bad game. His bad game is like 25, 8-8. So Kyrie, I mean, yeah, if he's not hitting shots, he kind of disappears and he'll dish and do whatever. But like, I think that how teams beat them is they somehow lock up them or at least, minimize their production and just pound it down low. And, Christian Wood, if he's injured, I mean, there's nothing going on down there. Dwight Powell is a center who averages 5 rebounds a game. He's horrible. And Kleba is,
Gosh.
I would say Kleba's better than Dwight Powell, but
he's better
then again,
getting to shoot a little bit.
yeah, but they're
I'll
both
give him
pretty
that.
terrible. So I don't know. As for the West conversation, I like the Nuggets. The game last night, after I saw, or actually that was 2 days ago, but yeah, I was out last night to see the LeBron game, and I checked my phone at halftime of the Nuggets game, and Jokic had already had a triple double at halftime. I was like, Jesus, this guy's insane. But I think the Nuggets have a real shot. I'd like to see Kyrie like for 5-10 games just to get a better gauge. I don't want to say they're gonna win the finals right now, but I don't know. Besides the Nuggets and the Mavericks, man, we can't forget about the Warriors. I don't care what anyone says. The Warriors own
They're
the
still
West.
Warriors,
They have
yeah.
owned the West the past however many years. If I'm being honest, man, if the Nuggets keep it up, it's going to be Warriors Nuggets conference finals. If the Mavericks can get it together in this short time, maybe, Warriors, Mavs, Warriors Nuggets. I don't know. Mavs Nuggets.
Probably depends who the
whatever you wanna
Warriors play
call it.
first.
That's who I think poses a worse matchup for the Warriors is actually the Mavericks now because their biggest strength is the Warriors' biggest strength. Jokic brings his problems, but I don't think that what am I trying to say? I don't think that the Nuggets can stop Curry or anybody in that backcourt. Whereas if the Mavericks have Kyrie and Luka, they can match that production. And so, then it's a battle of scrubs down low with those teams. And maybe it comes down to a guy like Wiggins. So Jokic poses his problems, but they beat Jokic last year. That's kind of where I'm going at, what I'm going with. But yeah.
With nobody.
Yeah. At the end of the day, man, the
the
Warriors
Nuggets are a different team. Yes. But they they're the Warriors. It's a Tom Brady style. I'm never going to count them out.
They're such a complete team, and that's why I feel like the Nuggets have an actual shot this year. Is they look amazing. All around the chemistry is there. These guys aren't injured. Jokic actually doesn't have to go out and drop 40 every night. So I don't know. I mean, I just wanted to throw it out there. It's just common knowledge to an NBA fan. You can never sleep on the Warriors. So, yeah, that's all I got to say.
Yeah, I didn't have any like in-depth analysis, so I was just like, yeah, we know the Warriors will be there. But in terms of like, I don't like a fourth team. The Pelicans were in the running. I haven't seen Zion really play as of late. Ja is on some Gilbert Arenas, he's on one.
He's got Luke, the blicky on.
Luke, do you have the inside scoop on that story too? Because I'm really like, here's what I've heard is that he pointed a gun at the Pacers bus.
Somebody in this SUV.
Yeah, there was
bro had a red dot. He had the
attachment. He had the Glock with the beam on it. All right, listen. So this is what happened. There was a Grizzlies Pacers game, I believe, in Indiana. I forget actually if it was home or away, but basically some of Ja Morant's buddies, entourage, whatever you want to call it, they were like talking their stuff, whatever, and eventually they got kicked out of the game. And because this happened, I think this happened when they went over to Indiana, I guess, or I don't know, I forget what it was, all home and away. But anyways, I know that Ja Morant was in a presumably blacked out Cadillac Escalade SUV type of car, and he was riding with the boys. One of his boys clearly had a Glock with a beam on it and pointed the beam at the Pacers, whatever, which is ridiculous.
You can't do that.
If you're in the NBA, you can't do that. The fact that this has already kind of been swept under the rug, like I've seen like Shannon Sharp saying, "You're an NBA player, like you can't act hard." Like, yeah, that's right. I mean, you're a franchise player, dude. What are you doing? Riding around with guns in your car, man. Like, I don't know. I didn't really know Ja was one of them boys, but hey,
he's not. That's what I've heard. Is he's not like he was raised went to a private school and everything. Like,
I don't know, man. I mean, this is just this season has just been filled with all these side quests. Like, this is just one of them. So I don't know. I hope that
unskippable side quests.
Yeah, I hope nothing comes to this. Like, not to say, Ja's in the wrong, because I think that, that he is. But I just hope that nothing else happens, as in, like, say they fired a shot. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're
right.
And then they tried to. I saw an article where they tried to say, like, there was a laser, like one of those like laser pointer. They're not riding around with a laser pointer in their car.
Yeah, come on. Come on now. The SUV. Like,
it's 2023, man. They're just, it's the Grizzlies, and now after this, their Ja's coming out and saying, "Oh, the Grizzlies are the most hated team." I've seen it on social media. Yeah, I mean, Jesus, I could. Yeah, I mean, clearly you're trying to now. And I remember last episode, I was sitting here trying to say, yeah, Ja's not the villain on this villainous team. It's Dylan Brooks, but I mean, geez, a week later he comes out with the blicky. So I don't know. I don't know, man. NBA is a crazy place, man.
Yeah, I mean, they got Mr. 6.5 points a game throwing punches at Shannon Sharp and Ja's dad joining in, and then now this. Yeah, I think they're the most hated team in the NBA. I can get behind that.
They're trying to create Arkham Asylum down there, bro. Steven Adams is Bane. You got Joker and Gritty and Joker and Ja. I mean, this is a mess. But no, I don't want to harp too much on Gilbert Arenas Jr. In terms of what do we have next, man?
Oh,
are we going to talk about LeBron? Is that what we're going to talk about next?
We have to touch on it.
We got to touch on it.
I'll ask the question so I don't. I don't want to, yeah. All right. So LeBron becomes the all-time leading scorer last night. Has a great first half. Comes out, scores 16 in the third quarter to get it, and then I think he scored like 3 more the rest of the game. But he was touching the ball every time. So look, obviously a great accomplishment, but I'll open up the floor before I give my thoughts. What does this mean for LeBron's legacy? And what does this mean for the NBA as well? Your takes.
I'm not gonna lie. I was honestly, before the record, like probably a month or two ago, I've always been pretty in the middle. I've always just kind of given like Mike well, his peak was legendary. He scored the most points in a season, so uh we're just gonna like kind of give him that 6-0 finals. Like I didn't really dive into the numbers and whatnot until lately, and seeing JJ Redick and other guys
Yep.
just break down like LeBron is still, I think it was like was it 0.2 or 0.3 career average behind KD for
Yeah.
scoring, and 3 or 4 points behind Jordan in terms, and that's average. Like I always thought that, I'm like, I feel like LeBron drops like 50 more often than I remember, and like has these like high scoring games like more than I remember. And then so I'm like, okay, well, maybe Jordan's more clutch. And I hear the clutch time points where Kobe is actually ahead of Jordan in that, and LeBron's ahead of all of them. And LeBron's had the most game winners in the playoffs. He's also had the most clutch points in the playoffs. There's just like a whole list, and I didn't have it in front of me because I didn't want to get in the entire debate today. But basically, I feel like the last like pinnacle outside of I mean, I don't know how LeBron, especially in today's NBA, can go on a tear and three-peat. Like I don't see that happening. But he's been in the league for 20 seasons and has gone to the finals for half of them. That's just ridiculous.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry, like as much as I love Michael Jordan, like LeBron never even had to step away from the game either. Like he's been the like pretty much perfect, like in terms of like an NBA player, like career wise. Like what more does this man have to do other than try and get to more finals, get more rings, which he's still gonna play a couple more years. Like that's on the table depending on where he goes. I have a hard time like standing up for Michael Jordan anymore at this point. And I'm not saying it was this record, like because he got it last night, that's what leapfrogged it. It was breaking down everything leading up to this record and realizing, as efficient and great as Michael Jordan was at scoring, LeBron was not that far behind and is better in pretty much everything else. Luke?
Yeah. I I would also say I was kind of in the middle. I mean, growing up like in the Midwest, Michael Jordan's always
It's
been the
Michael
GOAT.
Jordan, bro. Like, yeah,
But and honestly, I'm still gonna
hurts my
stand by that. But
soul.
I think I've been thinking about this the past like month or two, how I would want to like word it. I'm still kind of unsure, but I think at this point, especially with this record, and also just to touch on everything you just said, the records and the most points in the playoffs, all this stuff. I mean, LeBron's got, like you said, like he is the most perfect NBA player, like a career couldn't go. You know what I mean? Like the longevity is such a big factor, and he's, been in the league for 20 years and he's been good for 20 years. So you can't just sweep that under the rug. And I think after the scoring record, he's definitely one of the all-time great scorers. I mean, top three, I would say, obviously, just because he has this record. I mean, obviously, Jordan had a shorter career. He was better at scoring, but I think now after this record, I would say that Jordan was the greatest. He was feared by all. When you play against Jordan, you're in for a night.
You're in for
LeBron,
one, yeah.
you're not, he obviously people fear LeBron, but it was never the same as Jordan. But I would say Michael Jordan's the greatest NBA player to ever touch the court, but LeBron is the greatest all around just NBA career of all time, if that makes sense. And I don't know, like if I was gonna still rank them, I would still have Jordan 1, LeBron 2, all time stats and all that. LeBron's clearly gonna eclipse him at some point. I don't know about the finals. I mean, there's only so much weight that can hold, but I don't know, man. I mean, I got to start putting more respect on LeBron's name. I was never a LeBron hater, but like, I would sleep on him, man. And now
I've
that
never been a
he's,
fan either. Like, trust me, it doesn't feel good to like
yeah,
just concede this guy. But like, it's hard to like pick away something at this point that
you gotta give him his respect now at this point, man. He's been
like
doing this for
he's
almost as longer than we've been alive. I mean, I don't know. I think I'm still gonna die on the hill of Jordan was the greatest to ever do it. LeBron was the greatest all-around player, which sounds the same, but I don't know. It makes sense in my head. But I also want to say that come 10, 20 years from now, I feel like all these kids who grew up watching LeBron, Jordan's eventually gonna fall under the rug. He's just gonna be this guy. Oh, Michael Jordan, like he's not. I don't know. I have a feeling that the next generation is gonna have LeBron as their GOAT. I'm always gonna have Jordan as mine, regardless. But yeah, Caleb, you can make your
Yeah.
take.
Yeah, I actually, what you touched on at the very end there is something that I've a take that I haven't said yet that I'll say now. That's really been bothering me. I think basketball is, and this is a little off topic, but basketball is the only sport where we like discredit somebody for playing in the past. Like, does that make sense? Like, we don't look at like Joe
No.
Montana and like discredit anything he did, or Jim Brown is still in everybody's like top 5 running backs. Like, it's undisputed. But like, we look at like Bill Russell and what he accomplished, and we're just like, oh nah, he just played against a bunch of plumbers. Like, it doesn't really count, right? Like,
It was different though. That's
It
no,
was.
it's not. But why do we
It
discredit
was.
somebody for being the best of their time? Like, that's what I'm saying. We literally discredit players for being the best they could have been and the best in the league at their time. And so like, we do the same. We're gonna do the same thing for LeBron in 25 years. Maybe we won't because we grew up and we saw it, but our kids will, right? They'll do the same thing for Jordan in that same amount of time, just like Luke said. And it's like, we have this era where it's like, and it creeps up every so often. It's like, oh, it used to be like Larry and Magic were like the start of the real NBA. Like, you know what I'm saying? And then it's like these unwritten rules, and it just bothers me. That's all. I just don't like discrediting players for being the best of their time. Like,
I think that's just the reality of
like,
how the NBA changes over the years.
Yeah,
Though. You
it's
can't
not
I'm
like
not
really
saying the game
discredit,
doesn't. I'm not
like,
saying the
it's
game doesn't.
players
You guys
like
don't do
Cam
it. This is more
Thomas,
so,
like look
yeah,
at
I'm not
like the
saying the
average
game doesn't
NBA player is
evolve.
better.
Don't disagree at all. But like, when it comes to all time comparisons, people just automatically will downgrade somebody because, oh, he played in the 60s. And like, to me, I think that's dumb. That doesn't
I
happen
think
in
that's
any other sport.
I
more.
think you kind of
Yeah,
have to.
I
I
think
It
disagree.
sucks, but I think you have
I don't
to.
know.
No, I
I
disagree.
think that's going to be more of a problem in these next generations to come because
Yeah, because
obviously,
where does it end, right? That's where my
yeah,
question is. Like, are we gonna firmly draw the line at Bird and Magic played real basketball? Because I think that's gonna get pushed. And we're gonna be 40 or 50 years old, and people are gonna be like, oh, Jordan played against plumbers. Actually, people already say Jordan played against plumbers and all this stuff, right? Which it's more so LeBron fan memes that are saying that, but they're gonna say that about LeBron too. And we're gonna be like, oh, Curry didn't play against anybody. This new guy, he's way better than Curry ever could have been, right? And it's like, it's never going to end. And so that's my problem. Is like, there's just not enough respect on, like, if you're the best player of your era, like, we can talk about accolades and compare eras, but don't just discredit somebody because they were born a couple decades earlier. We don't do that in football. We don't do that in baseball. We don't do that in hockey. Like, it's only basketball where we do that. As for LeBron, and what you guys had to say about what he accomplished last night, look, I'm a self-admitted, like, I just like you guys said, grew up in Chicagoland area. Never liked LeBron. I don't like him still, but I have just a crazy amount of respect for this guy. You guys said it best. What more can you ask for out of a career, right? If you're an 18-year-old kid checking in for your first game, and somebody tells you, hey, in 20 years, you're going to be the all-time leading scorer in NBA history. Like, you're not, like, that's crazy to think about. And he's going to get to 40 something thousand too, right? Depending on how much longer he goes. So it's unreal to think about. It's not like he limped into the finish line here, right? He put up 37 last night. He's still averaging 20 something, high 20s. And what you mentioned,
He's averaging
JJ,
30 on the season.
Yeah,
30.2.
crazy.
yeah.
It's insane.
So when it comes to, well, I don't know if he's a kid, but when it comes, is that what you said? Or never mind. I thought you said
Sorry.
kid's insane. But when it comes to like what JJ Redick had to say, I actually really like it. LeBron, I've always felt like was a scorer. I was never in that like, oh, LeBron's a pass first player.
Same,
He's
yeah.
passing
I don't
Kareem.
know
Like,
where that narrative started from. I don't really like it. Maybe when he was on the Heat dropping 25
Mavericks
and he won
finals.
MVP. Yeah, I mean, I don't know, man. He's all like, isn't his record like he's done however many games in a row with at least 20 points? I mean,
Oh, yeah,
how
yeah,
can you
it's
cut?
up there.
it's
How can you
10,
not call
but
this guy an all-time scorer? But I don't know, man. I mean, and also just to touch on what you just said, Caleb, I didn't mean to cut you off, but man,
No,
this
go ahead.
LeBron coming into the league, we're saying like labeled as a prodigy. People were saying he was going to be the greatest before he even stepped on the court. And for him to come out and exceed all expectations and do what he's doing now, you got to give him his flowers, man. That's bottom line. I mean, I know people who are, live and die by LeBron. They're LeBron fans. And, I'm not going to say I hate them, but they're, they have their
No,
takes.
they're more annoying to me than LeBron actually is. And the problem is
Yeah.
I have to like
Yeah.
disassociate the two because these people they say some, and Jordan fans, everybody has fans, all sports, but
Yeah.
Bron fans, they've been at it for years. But
The people that aren't open. It's the people that die on the Jordan was a better winner or the LeBron's better physically, he'd kill Jordan. Like,
yeah,
I think neither are true. And I actually would like to say, I'm not going to try and discredit the eras, but I think it would be very interesting if MJ was in this era because I think he would probably average 40 for a couple seasons. But
yeah.
we're never going to know.
But
so,
I would
that's what
say the
makes it
same
so
thing
difficult.
when you talk about eras and the floor of an NBA player, guys like Cam Thomas who are sitting on the bench. It's better than it's ever been right now. That's only going to
Way
continue
better.
to get better as time goes on. But when it comes to those guys that stand out, those all-time greats, I truly believe that they would all translate to any era of the game, right? Like
That's like Bill Russell's one that comes to mind where it's like,
Yeah.
I have to draw. That might be the
okay,
line when there was like
but
8
Chamberlain,
teams.
Will
There was no
Chamberlain,
I would
shot
say
clock.
most
Chamberlain would because he was 7'1". I think he'd find a role. I don't think he would be Wilt Chamberlain. He would be dropping 100 in today's NBA.
No.
But he
God,
would
no.
still be very
is.
good.
Yeah.
Like he was that
but
athletic
I'd
monster.
say LeBron can go back in time and play in any era and be
yeah.
just as dominant, right? There
Same
might be
as
things
MJ,
he has
yeah.
to change. People always knock MJ's three-point shooting. If MJ played today, he'd be a really solid.
good.
He'd be a great three-point shooter. He'd be better than DeMar DeRozan, right?
LeBron didn't have a three coming into the league. That's something people develop.
Yeah,
Brooke Lopez never took them. Like we don't know. That's what I think is so interesting about the hypothetical aspect of this.
And that goes for other guys too. Like you cannot tell me, and people always knock Larry Bird, right? Oh, he was some white guy. He was slow. Like, dude, so's Luka.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
So is Luka. And
Larry Bird walked so Luka could run. Like
exactly.
Yes.
And Luka Doncic, this is a sign of Luka Doncic has been the biggest boost to Larry Bird's legacy. I think that he could have ever asked for because this guy was dead in the water until Luka showed up and just walks around and gets around everybody going a mile an hour like a turtle. But
yeah.
all that to say this, when I say LeBron, I believe LeBron is the second greatest player of all time. That is a very high compliment. I never thought he would get anywhere close to there, especially a couple years ago when he lost however many straight finals to the Warriors, right? When he lost, I never thought he'd get here in my mind. But there are a few things that separate Michael, in my opinion, and I'm not even going to cite them because I don't think we need to get into a huge statistical debate. I think I don't have a problem when somebody says LeBron's the best player of all time. But when they say it's not close, that's when I have a problem.
Yeah.
I don't think anyone could say that. Yeah.
I think a majority of people still think Michael Jordan is the greatest player of all time. I think if you were to poll every basketball fan, I think that it would be above 50, but would say that. But my problem is Kareem was nobody's GOAT last week. And now all of a sudden this is this huge, maybe it's a cherry on top, but it doesn't change that much of where we were, in my opinion, right?
It doesn't change anything besides the fact that he moved up one spot. I mean, Kareem, he's, when you see top 10 lists, Kareem's usually hovering or, in the top
I think he's
5,
three, man. I think he's three. I think he's three.
Yeah.
He's got 6 MVPs. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Talk about timeless. Yeah, that guy's 7'2" and had an unstoppable shot today.
Yeah, nobody's been able to replicate it since. So, look, I think Michael's the GOAT. My biggest reference point, and Luke's going to like this, who's really just changed my outscape on the GOAT debate and just ranking players ever. Go look up Jimmy High Roller on YouTube and just watch his videos, man. He just deep dives. They're fascinating stuff. It's stats you've never even thought about. And it just changes your perspective. And that goes to anybody listening. That goes to Christian if you haven't checked them out.
It's peaks and historic peaks.
He just makes really
I take
good
everybody in
content,
consideration.
Yeah, and so look, I think Michael's better. I think he had the best peak in any sport potentially ever. The only guy that comes to mind is like Michael Phelps or Wayne Gretzky. But the things that I respect the most when we talk about like better or worse all time, longevity, consistency, LeBron is the king.
Yeah.
Like it's not
Oh, yeah.
even like that. And that's not no pun intended. Like this guy's been doing it for so long, and this goes for any sport. When we talk football, Christian, like what are my two things? Like okay, defense, yes, but longevity, consistency, and like, can you do it great for a long time? So,
More
Ron, I'm
defense.
giving him his flowers, man. Right? I think Michael was a better defender on that note, but we're not going to go into that. But yeah, I feel like I've been talking a while. That's how I feel. I don't think it changes anything for me, but other than like, I think it's cool. I never thought I'd see somebody break career record. So I turned on the game last night and watched it. As much as I disliked watching the Lakers play basketball this year.
Yeah.
You know, yeah,
I think the last thing I got to say is, for one, we can move on after this, but for one, kind of what you said earlier about the all-time greats in every era. I think most all-time greats can play in any era. That's why they're all-time greats. When you talk about a guy like Bill Russell, that's, the question mark comes up. I think he would be, he'd probably switch down to a power forward position, and I think he would still be good.
Be the manimal, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He'd be all right,
Yeah,
and maybe he developed the jumper, but he was shooting like 40% back in the day. So
I mean,
yeah,
he was
I mean,
really he was an elite defender, and he benefited from
elite
incredible
defender
teammates
against
and
a couple
seven
real
other teams
teams
being in the league.
Yeah.
I think
I
that
don't
he
know.
still would be if he. I'll say this: if Bill Russell plays in the '80s, he's probably not as good as a guy like Kareem, but I think he's a very like elite player still. Right.
Yeah, I think he would be elite as well. I just don't. Okay, first of all, the championships are gone. That is no question.
Yeah.
Ain't no way he is carrying the
If
Jason Tatum Celtics to that.
Just for this is put anybody on blast, but you guys watched any of the film of the '60s? Like how Jerry
West
awful. Dribbled?
It's awful.
It's brutal.
And like
brutal.
so, like you are.
I didn't say
Jerry
West's name,
right?
man.
I'm saying the all-time greats.
But Bill Russell's in there, and he only lost to Jerry West. Like
when
I say
all-time greats,
I think Elgin Baylor translates better than Jerry West.
I don't know.
But West had a
it's very hard to say
because it's like you got to
before
put
the
yourself in his shoes. Like, is this guy going to grow up in an era where he's shooting the ball all the time, like where they actually take jump shots and like, I have better handles than half the guys that played back then, and I barely played high school basketball. Like
right. So you're seeing the problem. Like it's
yes,
much
I'm seeing
sucks
the problem.
We have to take it into context.
But what I am saying is, if that guy, what I don't like what people do is they just automatically discredit Jerry West. Where it's like if Jerry West was born in 2001, like me, and he would have equivalent handles. Like he scales up, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, which I do believe that if
he was
in
the best shooter in the league at the time, and he would still be a great shooter today. He just would be shooting 3-point shots.
Yeah, I'm just trying to say that as for the hypothetical and like the debate that will never end, when I say all-time greats, I'm referring to like top 20, top 30 best players of all time. I feel like most of them, I don't have a specific, who, but most of them could play in most eras is what I'm trying to say. And I don't know, Bill Russell, like I said before, in today's NBA, if he played exactly how he did back then, now he's not going to be that good. That's just reality. I mean, you're gonna have guys who are taller than him.
He's screwed. Yeah.
Yeah. But as for the other point I wanted to make, we can stop talking. I don't know why I keep bringing this up, but as for the Michael Jordan LeBron debate, man, you have him, Caleb, as your one, Michael Jordan, and Christian. Do you have Michael Jordan as one, or is LeBron, has he eclipsed that?
I still think I think one thing is true, like in terms of like the peak, like the apex of Jordan's career, I think is going to be pretty impossible to top.
Yeah.
Okay. But like it's very also difficult for me to. It's like.
I think I know where you're about to go. This is exactly what I was gonna say is
because I'm not one of those guys, bro. Like I'm not that like where I like everything in career is important to me, but it's like LeBron has done so much.
Yeah, and that's the exact point I'm trying to say is once LeBron eclipses, let's say 40,000 points, it's gonna get to the point where it's like, okay, longevity, obviously Jordan had a way shorter career. Longevity has to play a factor eventually. unfortunately.
I think it already is.
But
Like,
yeah,
that's why he's my 2. Like,
yeah.
if he'd have retired after 2016, like when he was 35 at that time, or oh no, he would have been younger than that. Let's say he retired before he went to the Lakers, right? He just retired after 2018. I think he'd be like in my top 10, top 5, but like the longevity is what's really pushing him in my mind uh, up to 2.
It's good. It's gonna, yeah. And I hate to say this. I really don't want to say this, but I think it's gonna come down to in a couple years, man. Like it's gonna be undoubted. Like he's gonna have multiple records, like even rebounds and assists. He's gonna keep climbing up those ranks. I don't know. I just want to get that off my chest because Jordan, like I said, he'll always be my GOAT. And you guys said it best, like the peak of, sport performance, Jordan was the GOAT. Like there was no one better than Jordan at what he did. But when it comes to just an overall career, man, LeBron, I mean, give it 2 years, he's going to be dishing the ball to Bronny and who knows, probably Bryce too. So he's definitely going to get to 40K points at that point. So that you're just, I don't know. Basically, what I'm trying to say is I could see my viewpoint kind of changing, but I don't know. I'd have to find a way to word it because, like I keep saying, for the 17th time,
I think this is where I think I know what you're talking about because with Giannis, it's like by the end of his career, he might be a top 5 player, but I can't like say that he's in my top 5 right now because there's guys who've just done more. Even though as a talent, he's better than Bill Russell. Like it's things I have to take in. Yeah, I have to take a lot into consideration. And I think I'm on this track of like I'm taking LeBron in the sense that like I'm just anticipating that he's gonna have a flawless career unless he like retires for a season or like gets in trouble off court.
I
like,
wouldn't say flawless.
as much as we don't like his arrogance. No, that's the thing. Like we don't like his arrogance, but in terms of like what you can ask for from an 18-year-old kid and the career he's had and the expectations these guys brought up, like he's hit every mark and more. And so like I don't know what he could do to get that number 1 spot in my mind. And if we're already talking that down the road he's gonna get it, I might as well just put him there now. It sucks. It sucks to say it.
So I think
I can't really deny it anymore in my mind.
I think the best way to put it is if you'd have told somebody in 2003 when he entered the league or whenever during his career, right? If you just said like, what does somebody need to do to like become Michael Jordan, like be better than Michael Jordan? A lot of people would say like, oh, somebody's got to go 7 for 7, right? Or like you don't really know how to like conceptualize that. And when you really look at it, it's like what LeBron has done might be the only way to surpass how great Michael Jordan actually was. Like this is the only route somebody could have taken where it's like you got to be top 5 in assists, you got to be like 4,000 points ahead of the next guy, right? You just got to destroy this record to where, and you got to be a 28.5 or 27.5 point scorer for 20 years to have a chance. Like that's how great Michael Jordan actually is in people's minds. And another thing too is LeBron he's hurt by, and I'm going to use this word, but like the lore of players after they retire. And we're yet to see how LeBron's like legacy will change after he retires. Mm-hmm. But like Michael Jordan's lore is like the last time we saw him, he won 6 times we saw him. Everybody discounts these Wizards years, but we never saw him like fail. So that like attributes to his lore. You know what I'm saying? Where like he's remembered as like this guy who hit this shot against Utah, this incredible winner, and Jerry Krause blew up the team. And like Michael said himself, he would have rather lost. But like I think we can all admit the fact that the Bulls never lost and just got like just the team was destroyed by other factors really benefits Michael Jordan's legacy. He climbed the mountain and beat the Pistons and never lost again. Like, you know what I'm saying? And then he retires. That benefits him too. Yeah. I don't think they beat those Rockets teams, man. I'm just going to be honest. I think one of those years, if not both, the Rockets knock them off before they get Dennis Rodman. So it's like he's just benefited perfectly from certain timings. And there's other things too. Like if Michael comes out of high school and, he's 18 when he's under the league, yeah, he's going to have more than he's probably going to beat. He probably would beat Kareem, so there's other things that LeBron has the advantage too of that timing.
He was like 5,000 less. I like the take, but
dude, he averaged. Well, you're okay, but you're also forgetting he lost 3 years to college on LeBron, and then
I'm factoring that in. Like if we added 3 years of him being a baby, I mean, averaging 20, I don't know if he'd still catch Kareem, like with the 5,000.
I think
that's just all I'm factoring in. And I know
the math works out to like if he scores his average amount of points in 5, if he plays 20 seasons, so he played 14 or whatever. Take the total points. If you average that out per year, and then you add up to 20 seasons, it's 43,000. So like at his pace of whatever his career was, it would have been that, which is stupid. Hypotheticals are dumb, right? He didn't do that. But what I'm trying to say is like, I guess I lost what I was trying to say. The lore, just like we remember Kobe
we know like
mentality.
That's why he's everybody's favorite. Like it's Jordan. He went.
It's a storybook, and LeBron does not have that. Sometimes I wonder if LeBron. You guys can answer this. Like if LeBron had retired after the bubble or after the 3-1 lead, like is he like remembered better? Like we won't know that answer until after he retires. But it's a genuine question I have, where it's like if he goes out on some high note, the last time we see him, that matters to somebody's legacy. Look at what it's done to Kobe. You know.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, the only take that I've been cooking up is, I mean, I like the discussion, but I know no one said that Kareem's record was gonna be unbreakable, but I gotta be honest, bro. If LeBron eclipses 40, that will be the most unbreakable record in sports.
And history. Especially because no one comes out of high school either.
Yeah, I mean that is
unless that changes.
I don't care. Like I know we talk about sometimes like, oh, the NBA is evolving, the players are scoring. No, dude,
it's
no one
tough
is
to be that good for that long in the NBA.
No one is doing that, bro. Okay,
for nobody to figure you out, like it's nuts.
I just got to get that off my chest. That will be the most unbreakable sports record of all time. As after LeBron hits 40K. I mean, and who knows? He might even go.
You know what though? This might be a hot take, man, but I think somebody might get it. Like all records get broken.
Give it 100 years.
Well, yeah, like that's what I'm saying.
We're not probably see it in our lifetime.
We might not see it in our lifetime. No, I totally agree. But I wouldn't be shocked, man. You know, there's some things that just like we say this about Kareem's record. We're gonna say this about Brady's Super Bowls. We're gonna, we say it about all these other things. Records get broken. They're meant to be broken.
Yeah.
So, we can move on though. We spent a lot of time. I do want to say final statement. Like all respect to LeBron.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. What more could you ask for? I think you guys said that best. But let's do it. Let's do a little better or worse then. A classic statement. We got a couple minutes. About 20 or so minutes left. Let's kick it off. We talked about it at the beginning of the episode. Let's do it a little bit more. So Kyrie Irving, where's his all-time legacy stack up? Does anybody want to go first? We've done this segment many times. So does anybody have a guy they really want to go first?
I got a lot. I got 5. Yeah. Oh, Gilbert.
You got 5. Okay. Gilbert Arenas?
Maybe just run. One each for the sake of time. But yeah.
I mean, we don't have to go. Arenas, we could just rifle them off or go, go whatever. But Gilbert Arenas, man. Oh, jeez.
My instant take is Kyrie. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
But let me pull up the numbers.
Right. Yeah, it's probably Kyrie. But ultimately,
I think
had a nice peak. He had a nice peak.
Without even looking at the stats, yeah, I'm gonna go Kyrie. Just rifle it off.
Yeah, I mean, wow, his peak is pretty good, but really good. Kyrie is, surprisingly, has better longevity for a guy who just cannot seem to be on the basketball floor. Arenas too, like when he got to the end of his career, I'm just looking at his numbers, like he wasn't good, like less than 10 points a game. And Kyrie might get to that point, but they've played about this. Like Kyrie's played 12 seasons, Arenas played 11, and Kyrie's averaging 27 this year.
Kyrie's still going, yeah.
So I'll go Kyrie. But Luke, you got 5, so give us one at least to start to kick us out.
Kyrie Irving, better or worse than Allen Iverson? Two guys with quite the handle, man.
That's a good one.
Maybe even top 2 handles of all time right there, actually.
That'd be a good list to do. Top handles of all time. Man. Iverson was really good.
Yeah. And Kyrie,
I'll take Kyrie.
No, man.
I'll take Kyrie. I'll take the bait because I'm going to take the
bait
because
go ahead. I don't want
because this is your problem. You're a numbers guy. If you go look at the numbers right now, Kyrie's got Iverson beat. Iverson just had a couple seasons like in his MVP where he averaged a couple more points than Kyrie, but efficiency, it's hands down Kyrie Irving. And as much as I love Allen Iverson, he's one of those guys that had a good peak. His longevity definitely fell off like at a certain point, and Kyrie's still going.
All right.
And they're close enough in relative era that I gotta go with Kyrie, man. That like just watching the two, I can actually watch film on AI and it be somewhat relative to like what we're seeing today. And he's just not doing what Kyrie's doing. Not even close scoring wise.
Here's why he is close scoring wise. Efficiently, Kyrie is definitely better. I will definitely concede that. Efficient, field goal percentage 45% career for Allen Iverson is 53 for Kyrie Irving. But AI, this comes back. I'm surprised you did this because you're usually a proponent of bus driver, bus rider.
I was going to say that as well.
He never won a finals.
Yeah, but he won an MVP and he took a team to the finals.
So D Rose, he won an MVP.
Kyrie never made, or D Rose never made to the finals. And D Rose is the biggest what if in history. So I think that you come down to bus driver. Allen Iverson was way better than Kyrie ever was and ever has been. Kyrie hasn't been a bus driver since LeBron, came to Cleveland. And then when it comes to scoring, I didn't know this, but AI averaged 30 like 5 or 6 times. And there's like a from 90. I'll just read his numbers till when he left Denver. His points per game go as a rookie 23, 22, 27, 28, 31, 31, 28, 27, 30, 33, 26, 31, 25, and then 27 or 26. And then after he left Denver, his last few years in Denver, the numbers went down below 20. But he was not this short peak guy, is what I'm trying to say. I mean, he was over 25 points a game from 1997 to 2007.
But the efficiency number really gets me because the Sixers had nobody. Like that was common knowledge. When Harden had nobody, Harden was getting 60 on good efficiency, and like Iverson was getting his points and still getting pretty far. But like his farthest run was that 2001 year, and outside of that, that was always a knock on Iverson during that time. It was like, oh, is he gonna get a championship? Is he gonna beat Kobe? Like he can never like get to be that guy. And Kyrie's never gotten this shot to like be the guy. He's always behind LeBron and KD. And when it was with the Celtics, we saw he was playing along Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown. Yeah, they were young, but they turned out to be ball dominant players as well. I would love to see Kyrie with a team of just a bunch of nobodies. I would love to see what that entails. It's probably some crazy numbers like we're seeing with the Hardens of the past, the Lukas currently. And it's cool down the same team. But again, now he's with another like top 5 player in the NBA. And Iverson just got the chance to, compete for that. But Kobe and Shaq were to the top 5 in the same team. So I don't know if I can give them top 5 for a long time during that like 2001 couple of year stretch. But I just think Kyrie is like more efficient. He still has like room to go. Like he's gonna beat Iverson on the longevity. And everyone loves Iverson as a scorer, but if Kyrie's better at that, like who would you rather have on your team? I mean, for a game, not in terms of like long term and off, like just for purely basketball. I'm gonna take the bigger guard who's gonna get me more points efficiently. It's just that simple. Like it's not. I don't want to read too much into it. Legacy. I'm just going by like what my eyes and numbers are telling me.
That's a fair case. And throwing in Kyrie's ring too, I think matters. The other thing that I guess I forgot about, Allen Iverson was a really good defender, and that also helps. But I still, my main argument is bus driver, bus rider, which is surprising. But you know what, man? I think you made a great case. I could. It's an argument. Still going Iverson, but is it? Yeah.
That's
a good one. Luke, great.
Yeah, he was someone who I just came to mind. I mean, as for my take, I feel bad the fact that this 5'10", 5'11" guy had to go up against prime Shaq and Kobe to get his own ship. But like, jeez, that like the fact that he even made it that far is just insane. But anyway, I think I'd have to go with Kyrie. I would have to side with Christian in basically everything he said. Really? I mean, Kyrie's never had to be that guy like Allen Iverson did, but efficiency does play a big factor. And, Kyrie, the way that his career has been trending, he's always had that, besides on the Celtics when, he was one of the older guys on that team, like he's always had that. He's been the number 2 option is what I'm trying to say. Allen Iverson was basically always number 1 until he got older. So I don't know.
Yeah, that's why I find it weird that Christian's going the other way. But go ahead. Yeah, I interrupted.
Yeah, no,
I don't think being number 1 option makes you good, right? Like I think that's what you're trying to say. Like, yeah, it's cool he's number 1 option, but it doesn't mean he's really better than Kyrie Irving just because.
Luke, finish your statement. We interrupted.
I was just basically what I'm trying to say is I got Kyrie. I mean, I think Allen Iverson was one of the all-time greats as well, but I don't know. I think Kyrie, another thing Christian said, he's still got room to improve. He could add it, him and Luka could go get a chip this year. I mean, Iverson,
that's number 2.
Obviously, I don't think Kyrie's ever even had the chance to get an MVP just because of the situations that he's been in his whole career. So I'm not really necessarily knocking him for Iverson MVP, Kyrie not. So that's why I'm giving it to Kyrie.
That's fair. And what I'm saying, Christian, is just basically based off your track record. Your pick here does I'm not disagreeing that hardly with your pick. I think it's close. You're just surprised when you're usually a bus driver guy. That's usually your take. So
if they're good.
What are you trying to say? Allen Iverson wasn't good?
like good as the bus driver. Like you get the bus to its goal, and he got
a successful bus driver.
But then he ran into the wall called Kobe and Shaq. So
fair enough.
Unfortunate, but
fair enough.
Unfortunate.
Yeah. Actually, people forget too that Denver team ran into Kobe too. With Melo and stuff.
Melo. Yeah.
All right. So with AI, I want to pick from my names here for you guys. I want to see if I can get you guys. Based on that, I'll go. Okay, a better or worse all time than Kyrie Irving, Gary Payton.
Yeah, here we go. Here we go.
I got Kyrie straight up.
Yeah, I'm not.
Defense, you can give it to Gary Payton. I don't care. Kyrie's better.
Everything else. Yeah. Yeah. If you want to die on the defense hill, Caleb, I'll let you. But just
so that let me ask you guys, where is Gary Payton on your all-time point guards list?
Oh, geez.
Maybe like top 20.
Top 20, top 25.
Yeah.
Okay. So then where's Kyrie?
Top 20 for sure.
Yeah. By like teens, I think, like 15, 16 area. Actually, top 25 for Gary Payton might be better. I think I cut it close to top 20.
I think you guys are crazy. I think Payton is definitely top 15.
What else did he do besides that one almost Sonics here, man? And that's the big thing too. Almost, like it's another Allen Iverson, except he had Sean Kemp, it still couldn't get it done. Iverson had nobody.
I mean, he's
Eric Snow,
top 5
come on,
defender of all time. He won. I'm not trying to make the case for Kyrie here. I'm very interested because I'm trying to find the medium on who to name here. Then where do you guys? Okay, then I'll do this because I know you're not going to. The other guy I had written down was Chris Paul. So you guys clearly have Kyrie higher than I do, and I would have taken Kyrie over Chris Paul. But then the last name I have written down is John Stockton.
That one's tougher, I will say, just because they're two. I mean, Kyrie's a scorer. Stockton was, delivering basketballs to the mailman. Yeah. So
right, and even in like how hard was that? Like, he's a 6'1" point guard. Like that's.
This is tough because I feel like
slighted, but
I disagree.
It's tough because I feel like you have to put Stockton over Kyrie all the time. That you have to. I feel like that.
Okay, and what is the reasoning though? Because I feel like we've touched on this earlier.
Because he played 20 more assists above,
and he had that many more assists. It's not because he was better talent. It was just he did.
Kyrie was a better talent player all around. But
I want to give Kyrie that. If we're talking like legacy, whatever, Stockton gets it because he's Stockton.
Well, that's what we're.
But talking. If like picking up a basketball for like pickup, like dude, Kyrie is saucing on John
that would be a
Stockton.
murder.
He's
Whoa.
putting him out of
My
his
gosh.
shoes. Like that's
That's
why
not what
like,
we're doing, man. If we were doing a
well, that's
pickup,
yeah. What are we
There's
doing?
different
I'm saying
aspects.
that's
There's different
all
aspects to this,
time,
man.
right?
There's
Like,
different aspects.
all time as a player, Kyrie. But if we're gonna factor
unbreakable
legacy and
records
legacy
too.
factors, yeah,
Unbreakable
know.
records. That one is going to be. It's still up there with LeBron.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
He's in a
Yeah.
league of his own. I don't think anybody's ever coming. LeBron might come be the closest and still be over 1,000 shy. That's where I saw a thing. It was like he has
Crazy.
to average 10 assists for 6 years to catch up.
Yeah,
From this point where he's at now,
Jeez.
LeBron, and he does. He's not going to average 10. You know, he's going to
Unreal.
stay with his 7 or 8. Okay, I'm glad we drew the line at Stockton, but okay. Who else? I don't have anybody else.
Christian, you got a guy? Another guy?
Oh, we can pivot to was Embiid. Was that the new center for the day?
I got one more dude before we.
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, go for it.
I feel like I mean we've been having all these discussions. I feel like Kyrie's hard to kind of compare to people, so I kind of took a different approach to this one. So Kyrie Irving, better or worse all time than Scottie Pippen? Another number 2 option.
Different approach. I'm not gonna take that bait as much as it's there. Yeah.
I'm going fishing today, boys.
Nah, dude. Even like Scotty in today's like, he didn't need to really develop a jumper, especially considering who he played with. That's just the points were just there. You'd show up and bam, all right, 30 points on the board. So I think Scottie Pippen, especially like his ability is what he could do as a defender, like as a playmaker for his size, is really like what the modern game is looking for.
I was going to say, I feel like he would translate to today's NBA perfectly.
Fantastic.
Dude.
Yeah. So yeah, man. And we're comparing number 2s here. Pippen's got more rings. I'm not gonna. I love Kyrie, bro, but yeah, there's a hard line there.
Yep.
All right, I'm glad Christian didn't take the bait. Yeah, I'm just gonna piggyback. Number 2 options. I don't think there's a better person in maybe any sport ever than Scottie Pippen when it comes to being the best number 2 option.
I want credibility on this show, man. I'm not about to. Kyrie and Jordan would be unstoppable. I think it'd be great, but like, no, that locker room. I have to stop
in a matter of a month.
Oh, jeez.
Kyrie ain't making out training camp without getting traded.
Yeah, that's so true.
Which honestly adds more to Pippen's legacy in my mind. The fact that he played with this guy for that long and he was just an idiot. But yeah, I'm going Pip.
I'm also going Pip. Yeah. Would you say that Kyrie and Scottie, in NBA wise at least, are the best number 2 options in history?
Kobe
to Shaq. Okay,
Kobe in 03 was, what did he have, like 7 straight 40-point games? Like,
yeah, but dude, on any other team, he's not a number 2. Like that's accurate.
I'm talking
neither
about
is Pitt,
neither is
Pitt.
Well, he's not like a top 5 player every year. Like Kobe and Shaq were top 5 players that year. Like they could have been top 3. Like that was the
if we're gonna make the argument for Kobe being not the number 2 option on that team, I'm all here for it because I think he gets way too much credit taken away from it when people talk about that. But
it was more like a 1A 1B, kind of like with Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum right now. Like it's okay. I mean, Jason Tatum's definitely like better, but you get the idea. Like it's not.
Yeah.
Jaylen Brown he could be a number 1 in many places.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of any other number 2s better than Kyrie.
No. Oh man, I mean maybe
I don't know. I just wanted to ask if you guys had anyone off the dome piece, but we can pivot to Embiid or do whatever.
Yeah.
All right.
See what we got for Embiid. You guys pull it.
Yeah. this one's a little interesting. Luke, you're the Sixers fan. I'm sure you got
I actually did. I had one guy and then I talked myself out of it. So you guys can lead off. I need to find another guy because
I do have 2 guys here.
Okay, go for it.
I'm torn because I know you guys are gonna say I know your answer for one of them, but I don't know where I'd put him. But I'll go with the other one.
I'll say the other one. Yeah,
I'll go with the other one, which I think could be an interesting discussion. So better or worse all time than Joel Embiid, and this is a little bit of bait, but I could see a case being made, and Luke's probably going to make it. Patrick Ewing.
Oh, give me Joel Embiid for sure.
Yeah, come on.
Joel
Really?
Embiid. Yeah. Oh,
really?
yeah.
Ewing can't hit a jumper, bro. Like Embiid is such an amazing, like, could play in any era big. He's 7 foot, can yam. Like, he's a guy who's generational, and Ewing is just
Shot blocking, I'd give to
man.
Ewing, probably.
Yeah, he's
That's
good.
Definitely
like,
a better
and
defender.
he probably would
Definitely
he'd still succeed in today's NBA, but he would be limited in terms of like what he can give a team offensively.
He's like a Jaren Jackson.
Yeah,
No,
that's a really good
Well,
way to put it. He's a bit like big dude, like you love having him on your team, but
you guys
I
are
wouldn't rely on that
sleeping
guy to
on.
make.
You guys are sleeping a little bit on Ewing scoring.
We're sleeping on the guys that play hard defense.
Was he 20, 25
Is
points
that
a
is that
game?
the problem?
28
Like-
at his peak, 27, 25 the rest of his career in a lower scoring era. But I don't have a problem with you
Just
taking
good.
Embiid, but I don't just completely toss his
Especially
scoring.
this-
It's not like Pat Ewing is Dennis Rodman over here. Okay?
Oh, and he's not like
One.
Mutombo or anything,
Yeah.
but like he wasn't pulling from three and like it's butter.
But nobody
like, he
was,
pulling from
though.
three and all.
But nobody.
Yeah,
that's
but
Yeah,
I
this
gotta.
is the era.
I'm
This
not
is
gonna
the
knock
era
Embiid
thing.
for
Yeah.
But
developing a jump shot. Like
I
he's
honestly
still
think a guy like
talented.
Pat Ewing would be probably maybe score even better nowadays because nobody, if he just posted, if his team let him post up and he developed I don't know,
Yeah,
30%
but if you hear what
three-point ball.
Embiid said, that Embiid said he had to develop the three because you can't do that in today's NBA anymore. You can't just
Yeah,
go back to the
I-
basket. There's too many rules and
I think
the way
that
teams go defense.
in the same way, Christian, that we discuss how running the football comes back in eras, right? I think that back to the basketball is going to make a comeback for the next decade. I think that.
Why?
I think that it will.
Why do you think the NBA?
Well,
would
it'll
even
be
want
it'll be
that?
different. It'll be different. It'll be the same way that teams run the football differently. The 3-point guys will, or the fives will still be able to shoot 30% from three and hit it when they're open. But as an offensive schematic, there's going to be guys that come through. I think that are going to be just that athletically gifted. Guys like Embiid who are going to be. They're going to post up more. Embiid and Jokic, I think, are going to have a long-term effect.
But they literally said they don't want to. Like Embiid came out and said he had to change his game because he couldn't. So like, why would he go back?
I don't know if
That's all
I
I'm
could
saying.
agree with that take only
Yeah, I
because when
can't.
you like, I think that every
I don't know
modern
why we would
NBA
go
center-
backwards, and that's like saying you're going to take away the forward pass in NFL. Like it's the comparison's a
That
little
is
a little
not-
different there.
Okay, I don't
Yeah,
know.
because
That's a little
extreme.
extreme.
Oh, that's the
a
other
little
side of the
extreme.
spectrum. But like we're taking a step back. Like three has been proven more than two. I mean, the Rocket system eliminated the mid range and for a while when Arden was there. And there's talk of even putting in a 4-point line. So like that's I don't know if guys are gonna
I don't
like Jahlil Okafor is not in the league anymore for a reason. Like that part of the game, if you can't do it all, is kind of fading away. That's how I feel.
I think you guys, maybe I'm coming on a little strong. I think it's going to come back. It's going to be an evolved form. And maybe it is the evolved form is guys like Jokic who just distribute like crazy from back to the basket and can still
I think
shoot
it's
the
always
three.
going to be prevalent. I see what you're trying to
That was
say.
a part of
but
the
I
game. Yeah.
also
Like the
feel like
Harden era, like eliminating the mid-range jumper. I think that we are going more towards the mid-range and
Oh, yeah.
back to the basketball than we were 5
I
years
think that was an outlier. I think the Rockets just like to chuck
Yeah,
threes.
that
I
was
think
just-
that I think
that
that
was
back to the
system.
basketball will always be there and it'll always be prevalent, but it's not going to be like a Hakeem gives you the dream shake and does all that. No, it's going to be
Yeah,
more
we're
of
not getting the
you're
90s
backing him
again.
up, you can get him to bite and then you do an up and under or you're doing a fadeaway. And the fadeaway I think is going to be a lot more prevalent just the mid-range game because these new guys who are going into the league like Embiid for example, he didn't, he has his mid-range is money. Like he's almost as money as KD for
such good
mid-range.
touch.
And these centers that are coming into the NBA in these next couple years and for times to come, their mid-range game is going to be A1. So I don't think it's ever going to be like a, Shaq just, hold what is it, L2 and just back up, hold
Hey
the
man, if
sprint
we get
dunk.
another
But
athletic freak like Shaq, which we probably never will, but I
Zion.
would be shocked. That's a good point.
Zion does have I would say that Zion
Not
is
as
the
tall.
closest. He's the closest to what you're trying to say in this modern NBA.
And he's
His
succeeding.
post game. Yeah, he is.
Yeah.
But he's
And
also
he's the most
Zion.
efficient shooter in the league.
He's also Zion. So there's not a lot of
he's very
guys
young,
like that.
man. I mean, when Shaq
I know.
Shaq was with Orlando, right? But yeah, interesting. Pat Ewing. Okay, no, I guess.
Yeah,
who's
I had Anthony
next for
Davis.
Embiid? Yeah,
I feel like that's a good comparison.
That's a good comparison. Did Davis grab an MVP?
Got so close with those Pelicans, but
Let me
ultimately he's
pull
on
up
the
his page.
Pelicans.
Oh,
So.
jeez, Anthony Davis. I don't. You guys cut out for a sec, but
Oh, you're good.
Oh yeah.
jeez, Anthony. Yeah, that's a good one.
Let you guys mull it over.
Oh, jeez.
I think right now you have to say Davis because he's accomplished more. Right? Like you have the same era players. He's just played X amount of more seasons. But I have beef with Anthony Davis, so I might just say
Yeah,
okay. Embiid is actually one of my favorite players in the game today. So I mean, Davis wasn't winning multiple scoring titles.
God.
You know.
Okay, I'm gonna hold myself back a little bit just because I want Embiid to win. I'm the guy in this discussion who wants Embiid to win MVP, even though we got guys like Giannis and Jokic just existing. So that's not gonna happen. But I think all time, as of right now, you got to put AD above. As of what's today? February 8th, 2023. Who do I want on my team? Give me Joel Embiid. Anthony Davis. Regardless of the injuries, I think Embiid brings more to the table.
Honestly, hear me out on this. When it's all said and done, Anthony Davis might be remembered as a guy like Pat Ewing. He always hurt, elite defender, very good scorer, but like just
it's possible.
Never got it done in the playoffs. Never really fully got that MVP. I don't know, just a thought. But Embiid he's a scoring champion, so 2 times.
Yeah.
Like
I think all time unfortunately I had to put AD above for now at least. But give Embiid 3 more seasons of doing what he's doing now, and I got Embiid.
I think if Embiid gets an MVP, it's over, or gets a ring.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
I guess Davis does have a ring. I forgot about that.
He has a bubble ring, if that counts.
He's got that Mickey Mouse ring.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
What's that? What was that kid's TV show? Bubble Guppies. Bubble Guppies. Bubble Guppies. All right.
Yeah. No. That was good. That was
Luke,
good
you got a guy for us?
Yeah, I just thought of someone. Better, worse, all time. Joel Embiid than David Robinson.
The Admiral.
Very similar players, actually.
The biggest.
Yeah, I think right now I'm gonna pump the brakes. Right now, I think it's David Robinson. But similar vein, I mean, you pull up Robinson's like career accolades. He's got 2
MVPs.
He's got 2 rings, 1 MVP, 8 all-defensive teams, a scoring title, which is really the only thing he has, 10 All-Stars, 10 All-NBAs, a defensive player of the year, a rookie of the year, rebound champion, block champion. I mean, dude,
he was built different. He was built different. Man.
Not that Embiid can't catch him, but he's going to have to win a couple. He's going to have to win at least a ring and an MVP to like have that debate in my eyes.
I think this is another player where eras come into play because I know that Embiid's got the edge on scoring for sure. Obviously, Robinson has dropped like 71 or something in a game, but
defensively, the scoring title.
Yeah,
Robinson definitely has an edge on rebounding too.
Yeah, rebounding and defense. So I would, me personally, I know I just said him, but I would definitely go David Robinson as of right now. A couple championships that probably won't happen would change my mind, but that's
I mean, and you talk about bus driver too. Like he's bus driver on 2 Spurs championships teams. Duncan maybe on the second one, but Christian, your thoughts?
Oh yeah, he's still got there, and I don't really have a whole like hard hill that I'm gonna die on right now. I think Embiid's probably gonna pass him eventually, but right now it's pretty comparable, so I'll go with David Robinson.
All right. Well, I don't have anybody else, so based on what you guys said, I'm not going to say my other name. You're going to laugh at me.
Yeah, no, we can roll into who he played for and.
All right. Who he played for, a staple segment, and as always, we will let our guest have the honors of going first. He's not really even a guest at this point. He's a regular. But Luke got
All right.
locks. Let's
Fellow
see what he's
co-host.
got.
Oh, all right. Who do I want to go with first? These are just two jeez. Caleb, I'm sorry in advance. Let me just think here. Okay, you wanna know what? I'll go with this guy first. Okay, so this guy was drafted by the Kings 7th overall and traded to the Charlotte Hornets on draft night. He spent his first couple years of his career there. He then had a stint in Toronto for a year. He went over to the Magic for 2 years, went back to Charlotte for 3 years, and got traded to Phoenix last year and is currently on the Phoenix Suns.
7th overall.
That's what's crazy.
That means he's a
think I know
complete
who-
bust. That's
I
what
don't
that means.
I don't know if you guys
It
ever
is.
remember
It is a bust.
every time we do this I say, drafted and then traded like 7th overall. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
definitely
Okay,
trying
I
to
think
throw you guys
I
off.
know exactly who this is.
The-
Just
Does he
something
happen
wrong.
to be a big man?
Oh yeah.
I was
think
thinking
I'm
range.
getting. Okay, for some reason, I don't know if this is gonna help you, Caleb, but like it might because I feel like in like 2K12 or whatever, like this guy, every time he'd get like announced before I'd get picked in like my career, and it was such like an iconic like David Stern line. So
Anthony
like
Bennett, like
no,
that's
what I'm-
great. That's 7. That's 7.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'll give you another hint.
What
when I
year?
said okay, so I'll give you the years because I think Chen's got it. So he
Yeah.
was drafted by the Kings, traded on draft night to the Charlotte Bobcats to give you some
Yeah,
in
the
2011.
Bobcats.
This isn't Michael Kidd Gilchrist, is
No,
it?
No.
big
I
man,
was gonna
big
say,
man.
there's no way he's still
He
in the league.
was in Charlotte from 2011 to 2015, went to Toronto for a year, 2015-16, Magic 2016 through 2018, back to the Hornets 2018 through 2021, and then got traded to the Suns in 2021 and is on the Suns.
2K12 always draft. Dude, I had like 15 different save files on that thing.
Dude, I don't know. I don't know if that. I do remember. It was definitely not 2K12. No way. I guess it had.
What
to
year
have
was
been.
he drafted?
Yeah, I guess it had to have been 2011, 2012. So
Yeah.
Jeez.
I don't have a
2K13.
name. The Suns is what's really throwing me. Go ahead, Christian. I don't have a name. I'm thinking it's like I'm picturing a big white guy.
Yeah, and if I'm wrong, I'm gonna sound like an
Definitely.
idiot. But with the 7th pick of the 2012 NBA draft, the Charlotte Bobcats select Bismarck Biombo out of Congo.
Yes, sir.
Really?
Is Mac Biombo.
I swear we did him, bro.
Yeah,
I
I
have no
mean,
idea.
I thought we were running duplicates.
Oh, we
like,
can
to
run
try and get these
duplicates.
by
I just think
people.
that's the first one. That's. Oh man, now I gotta be
Yeah.
aware. The ice has been broken.
Bismarck.
I'm stupid.
Mhm.
Bismarck. He was like
You
a
know what's gonna happen
significant
at some
piece of
point.
that Raptors ring, wasn't he?
Yeah, he got a
he-
moments card. I remember that in 2K16.
Or maybe that was
90
2K
overall.
No, that
No,
wasn't when
yeah,
they won the championship.
No, I'm picturing, literally the 2K16 moments. My team. card.
Biombo. Yeah.
I remember
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Back when my team was
Okay.
actually really
Okay.
fun.
Okay.
Um,
Yeah, no, the pack drafts. I got a guy. I got a name. He was drafted in 2015-16, so it's 2K16, I believe. Drafted with the Jazz, spent another year with the Jazz. In 2017, 2018, he was with the Nuggets. 2018-19, he was also with the Nuggets. In 2019-20, he went to the Spurs. He then in 2020-2021 was also with the Spurs. Last season, he was on the Pistons. Then he got traded to the Kings. And now he currently plays with the Kings.
Jazz, Nuggets, Spurs, Pistons, Kings.
Yeah, the teams are really not.
That is,
Look, the
I do
teams
not
that
pay
I
attention.
don't watch, man.
Yeah,
That might have
literally
been like
all those
the.
teams.
What are the
Yeah.
career total playoff appearances of those teams since he's been in the league?
I'll tell you.
Jazz.
Even with the years he was the Spurs, they sucked. So
What team was he like best known for on? I don't know if that's a hint.
I mean, to be honest,
Or he's
I
not
have
best
no
known?
idea. I have no
He's not
idea.
known.
He's not
Uh,
known. Okay.
who's he
No idea.
currently
Maybe the
playing?
Jazz because it was when he was drafted and he was young. And I would say Kings because shout out my boy Henry. He's my career GOAT. Like this guy helps him out when he was playing in my career. So
This year or when he like back in the day?
last year, I mean, he's still
Okay.
on the Kings, but yeah.
Okay.
So think garbage players from the Kings last year. Oh wait, it's like everybody outside of two, but no.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's like, oh,
You guys know the name, but it's like
I
definitely
always
not a
know the
prominent
name,
one.
man. I always know the name.
Hey,
Yeah,
I'm
I was
just trying to
thinking
give
about this.
help.
Like, I think I've probably heard of I've probably heard of 90 to 95% of every NBA player ever.
Yeah,
Like,
like
just
it's
not
very
true.
rare.
No,
I
that's just
swear.
not
I
true.
swear.
Ever, like
Yes.
the history of the NBA?
Well, that's what I'm
Okay.
saying is when you
Well,
start to go back and you name off the guys who played 3 minutes in 1973, then yeah, okay, maybe not. But
Yeah, I
most
get it.
people,
guys that played longer than a couple seasons. Do you guys have
They're like
anybody,
a
or should I
minimum.
just list this off?
No, I'm thinking. I keep
I need a
thinking
hint. I
Harrison
need a
Barnes.
hint, or you can just chalk it.
I don't really have a hint because this guy's
Big
such
man?
like he does nothing. He's a big man,
Big
power
man.
forward.
What's that? Is it that guy with the hair?
No, to be honest with
He's
you,
got big hair.
no,
He's got
he
big
is
hair.
very
Not
basic
Ogauskas,
hair.
no.
That's
He's got to be
yeah.
most like typical like just power forwards, bro. Like there's nothing special about him.
I'm gonna be pissed off when you say this name.
Yeah, I think so.
Go ahead. I give up.
Folding.
Yeah.
It's Trey Lyles.
Yeah, I'm not.
Oh,
I'm not pissed
I
at
hate
all.
Trey Lyles.
I'm not pissed
I don't know
at
why.
all.
He's just one of those players. I hate him. I just hate
That's
him.
his stats. He does nothing well.
That's a
I'm
career
really shocked
bronze
why he's
card,
still-
man. I don't expect him
Yeah,
to.
not even
I'm not
prize
mad.
picks hate. I just hate him. I just never liked
Not
Trey
even
Lyles.
prize picks.
Yeah,
He's
I
just-
just
he's
never
just
liked
garbage.
him.
All right. I got one for you guys. I'm excited about this one, but all right. So originally drafted by the Sacramento Kings, he then spent time with the Miami Heat. He then went to the Portland Trail Blazers, went back to the Kings, and he's currently on the Utah Jazz.
Oh,
I totally missed the first like half of that. I like tweaked out.
Went to the
Jazz and Kings.
Yep.
That's all I've
Well,
heard.
started with the Kings, went to the Heat, then he went to the Blazers, then he went back to the Kings, and now he's on the Jazz.
Kings and back to the
Kings Heat is like
it's such
like
a
that's. I feel like that's what's gonna get it for me. Kings Heat Blazers on the Jazz.
Let me know when you want the years. Because it's
Vanderbilt and these. Oh no, it's not NATO. Wow, any of some years might help.
all right. Drafted. Let me make sure he was drafted. Yep, second round pick by the Kings in 2010. He was there from 2010. He was there for 2010 and 2011. He then spent the next 2 seasons playing in Lebanon and China.
Oh my
Here we go.
And in 2014, he was with the Heat, and then he was with the Heat all the way through 2019. Then he was with the Blazers in 2019, 2020. Went back to the Kings the year after that. Last season, he was with the Jazz. He's still with the Jazz, but has not played in a game this season.
Okay, well,
You have definitely heard of this guy.
And you said what year was he drafted?
2010.
Oh man.
hasn't played a game this season.
But he is on the roster.
Oh my god, dude, I don't know. He's not on their roster. I know who this is now, and he's not on a roster.
Dude, I'll Google it again.
He's not on the roster.
Literally, I just read an article today of what happened to this guy. It's not in the league. Luke, you definitely know this guy.
Of course I do.
Big
I
man.
can't find anything about him being cut, but
He's not.
Thinking
he's
like-
still on
I was thinking
NBA.com.
like-
He is still listed up with Jazz.
His last team.
Dude, I was thinking like Kelly Olynyk or some shit, but I thought he was on like the
It's
Celtics.
not bad.
That's not a bad guess, but no. Best known for his time. Do you have it, Christian?
Yep.
Yeah, best known for his time with the Heat.
2016 for sure.
2016 big man on the Heat.
Not Chris Bosh, obviously.
Yeah, Chris Bosh. Final answer.
But he played next to him.
Frickin' Udonis Haslem. Obviously not.
Dude, the last time
Derek.
Udonis Haslem was relevant, like when Shaq was there.
July 26, 2022. It is still somewhat surprising that Hassan Whiteside is a free agent.
Where are you seeing
Whiteside?
Yeah.
I literally
I literally just looked up, is he still in the NBA? And that's all I had to look up.
Is Hassan Whiteside still in the NBA? He's with the Utah Jazz. Signed on August 16th.
That tracks.
Yeah, and then that's Wikipedia, man. I'm looking at.
I'm on the NBA website. He's on the whatever. You got it anyways.
Let me pull up the Jazz.
I know. It's just like it's brutal.
That was not
like,
me. That was not me being deceitful. About
Let me
that.
pull
I
up the
genuinely.
Jazz
I'm
roster.
getting Iggy flashbacks when Iggy was apparently a coach this year.
All right, I'm on
I
ESPN.
saw him, I'm out like.
Okay, we all thought he
ESPN
was a
right
coach this year. So that
not.
was not me trying to trick you. I genuinely, if I'm wrong, I apologize.
Okay, he's not. I do remember him being on the Jazz last, but on ESPN at least, he's not. Yeah, he's not on the roster.
All right. Well, my apologies. On NBA.com, he's listed.
That was a good one though.
as a
Hassan
Utah
Whiteside.
Jazz player.
Yeah.
That was a good one. I forgot about him.
You got another one, Luke? Or?
Yeah, I got one more. Okay, so this guy was drafted by the Dallas Mavericks on draft night and traded to the Atlanta Hawks.
Do you just Google draft day trades?
No, I look up the player and then teams on Google, and then I click on their Wikipedia page, and then I get the backstory, because then that's where I find out what teams they play for. But anyway, so drafted by the Mavericks, traded to the Hawks on draft night. So started off with the Hawks, went to the 76ers and was traded in that same season, was traded to the Lakers. And after the Lakers, he went to the Thunder, where he is currently playing.
Hawks, Sixers.
This shouldn't be too hard.
Lakers.
Another
Thunder.
no name.
What?
He's got a nickname that
I don't even think that there's anybody on the Thunder roster who's old enough.
If this is who I think it is, bro.
He's got a nickname that
I think I saw him play last night, and I'm really upset.
Yeah, you did. You did.
Oh my god.
You definitely did.
Oh,
that's exactly why I picked him.
I'm not.
Okay, I'll just give you the years.
You have like 10 guys. You gotta guess.
Come on,
like,
okay, I'll give you the years.
People you saw last night. Yeah.
Okay, Atlanta Hawks from 2013 to 2018.
It was a long time. Yeah.
2018-19, he was with the Sixers and the Lakers, which I don't remember at all. I remember him on the Hawks and the Thunder. And then, so 2019 to current is the Thunder, and he's a big man.
Oh, it's always the big man.
Okay, so 2K16, basically. 2K16. And then who was the Thunder center last night?
Bro. What year was he on in 2K16? Or in 2016?
The Atlanta Hawks.
The Hawks center in 2016 was not Clint Capella, apparently.
No.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I'll give you another hint. He's awful. He's awful.
He's garbage.
He is one of the worst centers in the NBA.
I don't know. Is it as bad as Thomas Bryant asking for the ball as LeBron is shooting the shot?
That was pretty funny. I saw that.
He was wide open.
He had a baby, bro. He had SGA on him. Like, come on, just dump it down.
2 points.
Okay, last hint.
Williams, is that his name?
No. His
No.
nickname is Moose. Moose.
Mike Muscala?
Yes, sir.
I could have swore he played. That's Mike Miller. Oh,
Like Muscala.
I was thinking he played for the Heat, man. Okay, well, I did think of Mike Muscala, but I don't get the credit. But at least I feel better. Moral victory.
Why don't you say it then?
Because I thought I literally was like, oh,
everybody can say, oh, I had it, but like,
No, like I literally
Did you
tried to
have
put the, no, I'm not taking credit for it.
Okay.
That's a loss. I'm just saying I was
Just give
thinking.
him the
I'm
moral
saying you should
victory.
shoot, bro. You should shoot. You should shoot.
All right,
Like when
no,
you have
no,
them,
because
like
because if I shot, I would lose my credibility on this show. That's why I don't shoot,
how?
man.
It's saying somebody's better than saying nobody. That's always how I feel.
I'm pretty sure
Like,
the only credible person when it comes to this segment is Chen. So you know,
All
right,
I mean, we
well,
don't really
I-
have anything to
I
lose.
I just I don't like
At least for the
believing guy.
encyclopedia
I like hearing
aspect.
I like hearing what's your ideas. That's all.
Well, all right. My ideas were Trent Williams, Lou Dort, and Mike Muscala, and I didn't think it was any of those guys.
Yeah, so you just gotta shoot. So what was?
All right, is it
I
my
guess
turn?
it's me.
It's you?
Yeah, you can go. You can go.
No, go ahead. We'll stay in order.
So this guy, what happened to my page? I know the player. Gotta be kidding me. But his career path is obviously, I made it difficult for you guys.
Of course you do. You always do.
Not as bad as Trey Lyles, definitely not. And I think Luke might get this. He definitely knows the guy. He was drafted in 2014-15 by the Orlando Magic. He stayed with them. Yeah, it's always the garbage teams. But the next 2015-16, he was with the Magic. 16-17, he was with the Magic. The 2017-18 season, he was with the Magic and then got traded to the Suns. In 2018-2019, he was on the Pelicans. 2019-20, so the COVID year and last year. Oh no, I'm sorry. 2019-20 Knicks, 2021 Knicks. Last season he was on the Suns. And I'm not going to deceive you guys. He's not playing this year. I thought he was still on the Suns, but I am now coming to new knowledge that this guy is also currently a free agent. But
it's not Alfred Payton again, is it?
Luke, do you have any other ideas?
Can you rifle?
Is that your guess? Is that your final guess? Or do you want to keep
It
say the teams
out
again
with
real
the
quick?
Knicks.
So it was Magic
Okay.
for 4 years, and then he got traded midway through the fourth year to the Suns. Then in 2018-19, he was on the Pelicans. After that, he was on the Knicks for 2 years, and last season he was on the Suns.
Okay, I do not remember him being on the Pelicans at all, but I'm probably gonna go Alfred Payton too because I don't even think he's in
I
the
can't think of
league.
any other Magic players besides like Terrence Ross from that era, but it's not Terrence
Terrence
Ross.
Ross.
Yeah, that's a dang. I'm mad. You guys really miss Terrence Ross.
Stop it. He didn't play for Toronto. Stop it.
It was
Alfred
Alfred
Payton.
It was Alfred Payton.
Yeah, all right,
I didn't know.
that.
I
We
can't
caught
believe
that
I
too.
missed that he didn't play this. I thought he was still on the Suns.
I haven't.
And I
heard
didn't think he was
anything about
playing
him.
very much, but wow, he really fell out.
All right. I got one. Pretty short. He only played for 3 teams, but originally drafted by the Philadelphia 76ers. He then spent time with the Orlando Magic and currently plays for the Chicago Bulls.
Sixers, Magic, Bulls.
Oh, that's easy.
What?
Yeah.
Sixers, Magic, Bulls.
The Sixers thing isn't gonna help you. But you'll remember him from the Magic and Bulls.
Sixers.
And
Magic,
don't think too hard
Bulls.
about it.
I think
This guy's not a scrub.
I'm thinking big man. I'm thinking 76ers.
Big man is the right direction.
Okay, well, the only person it could be is Vucevic then. But he was. Oh, gee, am I gonna talk myself?
So you
Nah,
guess?
I'm not talking myself out of this one, bro. Give me Vucevic. I did not know he was on the
Vucevic.
Sixers.
It's Vooch.
Christian, please explain how you know that Nikola Vucevic played his first season with the 76ers.
Just knowledge, and really, when I heard the Magic Bulls, I was like, even if I'm not confident in this, I'm confident in that. Like, you wouldn't pull a guy with that little of teams if he wasn't like somewhat relevant, you know. Because we did have like the 5-year like mark of like he's got to have played in the NBA for minimum 5 seasons. We can't just pull like Scottie Pippen Jr. from the G League and be like, all right, this guy's been on the Lakers. Like, we got to give some context. And I'm like, all right, so a guy who's had a career, Bulls, Magic, yeah.
All right, it's fair enough. I thought I could slick it by you, but I guess not.
Jeez.
And sneak Alfred Payton by you guys. I thought that was a lock. I didn't think it was going to be that easy.
Hey, earlier this season, Vucevic assists 3.5 over. That was a freaking lock and a half. That was one of my money makers, but they raised his line. So, and I'm retired for 3 days. So,
3 days.
Never mind.
Yeah, he's got to do that read $25 Sunday.
Yeah, buddy, it's been a little bit more than that. But anyway, I digress.
All right, well, we'll call it there. We're going a little long, so thanks again for listening, guys. Be sure to check out Luke Got Locks on Instagram. Check out us on Instagram and TikTok and YouTube as well. Luke, thanks for coming on. We'll be back next week. This was a really good discussion. A lot of time spent on LeBron and Kyrie, but those are kind of the main storylines. I'm sure we'll have more trade deadline news tomorrow. So, as always, thanks for listening, guys, and we'll catch you next time.
Peace.
Take care.
This is